So there's a massive fight happening this weekend in London on the Misfits boxing card, and I'm talking, of course, about Wings versus Boogie2988. And it's actually funny because it seems to be overshadowing every other fight on the card, including KSI's. Now, I've never really been a big fan of either of them, but I have always known about who they are and how the internet kind of views and treats them, and I thought it was a really interesting thing when Keemstar ended up putting this together. I didn't think it was actually going to happen, but they're both in London now, which is a good sign, and they both seem pretty ready to go. One of the things Keemstar did in the lead up to this fight was create a documentary where he would end up visiting both guys to check in on them. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to take a look at this, and we're going to see how they're doing, how the training's going, and we're going to see if we can figure out who we think is going to win here. The documentary is called 800 Pounds, One Ring, and you can find it on Drama Alert's channel. And it's about a half hour long, so we're not going to watch the entirety of it, but we're going to go ahead, we're going to skip to the parts where they end up training to see what happens. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alright, so they just got to the home of Wings of Redemption. We're going to go ahead, we're going to take a look here. All right, so right there, Wings is not looking in too good a shape, and that's the point. I understand that. But I have heard that he's actually down in weight since he started training. Same with Boogie, and that's fantastic. And what I really hope is that these guys are able to use this as not just a money-making venture, but also as a way to really kickstart a good trend, a healthy trend in their lives, where maybe they'll even continue boxing, or at the very least working out, and they'll be able to lose more weight. That'd be absolutely insanely good. And I guess we just have to wait and see. But right now, they're doing pretty good.
I don't know why. So Boogie's basically been saying that, you know, he's definitely going to win this, that you can't stand up more than 45 seconds.
Well, I don't think Boogie could either.
These are 2-minute rounds. Are you going to make it through these rounds easy as far as conditioning?
The first one, yeah. I figured, you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
I figured the first one is going to be, I'm going to be exhausted by the end of the first round, and then it's going to be a hug-a-thon.
I honestly don't think that it's going to go past the first round. Either A, someone's going to get knocked out, or B, somebody's going to end up quitting on the stool in between rounds. Nobody really understands what it's like to be in a fight until they've actually been in a fight. And when I say fight, I don't mean some schoolyard idiot, there's a circle of kids type of deal. I mean a fight where you're in the middle of a ring, it's just you and the guy you're fighting. The only other person in the ring is a neutral third party who doesn't really care that much for you over the other guy. He will just basically call the fight if he feels like either one of you are getting too hurt. It's a really strange experience. It's a bizarre experience, if I'm being honest with you. And I think that a combination of the exhaustion as well as the just foreignness of being in a fight with somebody will probably lead to somebody quitting on the stool in between the first and second round. Is that my official prediction as to how it's going to go down? Not necessarily. I'm just saying that I think that it is a distinct possibility. I think it's a pretty big possibility that it will happen, to the point where I would put that down in my top 5 or even top 3 ways that this will end up going down.
Clinching?
Yeah, a lot of clinching, a lot of hugs. But honestly, I'm hoping to get it out before 30 seconds.
Before 30 seconds. Not bad. So right away, I'll say that I'm actually pretty impressed by the athleticism that Jordy is showing. Now, obviously, he's not a D1 athlete, but for someone his size to be able to move in the way that he is, that's pretty stupendous. I'm actually extremely surprised and impressed by that. There's also a certain coordination to his punches, almost as though he has done this before. I don't think he's done it before. I just think that maybe Wings is a natural athlete who just doesn't do athletic things. Maybe that's how it is. Some people are just more coordinated than others. That's just how it is. You tell someone to do something, they end up doing it the first time. And it's crazy to see. And I don't know, maybe Wings is just one of those people. Now, obviously there's things that he's doing wrong, but he's doing enough right as to where I'm not going to sit here and completely and totally pick apart every little thing that I see. Overflow just said pretty quick on the jab, and I have to agree. Right here, he's throwing with his arms down. That's not necessarily good. He should definitely try and keep his hands up, but he is throwing with power, which is nice. Which that's sort of how it is when you end up being that weight, right? And I don't know how tall he is either, but when you're that big, you're gonna be throwing with power. It's just physics. So I'm actually pretty excited to see what'll happen when Wings ends up hitting Boogie. I want to see if it ends up just completely obliterating him, or if Boogie's gonna be able to stand up to that, and vice versa.
That's some power on those shots.
Oh shit!
Bro, it's tough to throw.
Oh, that's not bad. So right away, he's still throwing with his hands down. All right, that is what it is. But the way he's throwing his uppercuts is not bad. What happens with a lot of people is they reach back when they throw their uppercuts. He's not doing that. He's throwing it from basically where he's supposed to throw it for the most part. There's a certain smoothness to it. He's got a certain flow. And again, I'm just really impressed by the athleticism that I would have never expected from a 400-pound Call of Duty YouTuber. And not just a Call of Duty YouTuber, but a Call of Duty YouTuber who's been doing it for, what, he apparently joined in 2008. It's 2023 now. That's what, like 15 years? Just 15 years of sitting on your ass? I don't know where this is coming from, but something tells me if he took a different path in life, he may have been able to do something good with sports, whether he made it up to a really great height or if he ended up coaching other people to do so.
Get up. I mean, Boogie's 48 years old. You know, he's on disability a fifth of his life. You know, he's probably got some type of arthritis. Like, if I put him down once, can he get up in 10 seconds? I don't know.
That is actually a really good point that I didn't even consider. It's not necessarily about absolutely starching the other guy. It's basically, if somebody falls, are they going to be able to get up in 10 seconds? Because the thing is, it's not about whether or not you're actually knocked out or actually legitimately rocked. 10 seconds is 10 seconds. They're not going to go, oh, well, we counted to 10, but you're just really tired. I get it. Or you're really heavy, so it takes you longer. There is none of that. The second it hits that 10-second mark, they're going to end up calling it. So that's actually something I didn't even consider that is going to be a potential problem for both of them, right? It's not just going to be a problem for Boogie. It's also going to be a problem for Wings because he's going to be probably just as tired, right? And I'm wondering if that will end up having some kind of an effect. I think that is probably even more likely at the end of round one than somebody quitting on the stool, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I know that people who are their weight, they have a hard time getting out of bed. They have a hard time getting out of chairs and things like that. They might hit the ground and not even be able to get back up, period. They might just have to be like, all right, well, I think I lost. I just have to wait for the 10 count, and then hopefully my corner will come in and they'll help me up. You never know. That could be a thing. But that was actually an interesting little bit of insight from Jordy. And I guess we're just going to have to see. But that's pretty much it for Wings. And what we're going to do now is jump ahead to where Boogie is going to end up training. And we're going to see how he's doing. All right, so here we are at the home of Boogie2988. And I've got to say, I love that house, dude. That is such a nice house, right? At least the outside is. I don't know how the inside is. But I just dig that, especially the double garage. But let's not get too sidetracked here. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay. So right away, I'm not liking how Boogie is throwing his jab. And the reason why is because he's throwing it like this, right? He's not turning into it like he's supposed to. You want to use your shoulder and you want to really push off your back leg when you're throwing a jab. Basically, the way he's doing it right now is he's only throwing with his tricep. And that's not a good way to do it because there's so many other muscle groups that could go into it to really generate not just power, but also speed that he's not using. In addition to that, he's not as mobile as he could be, as opposed to Jordy, who he was moving around and he was really in and out and he was athletic. Boogie does not look as athletic right off the bat, but I will say he does really look like he puts power into his shots, and I really mean that, especially with that right hook. It looks like he knows how to generate power, so he may not be as athletic, but I'd say he's probably just as dangerous in a different way right now.
That's good. We got that.
All right, so This right here is it's just a little weird. I don't know who the other guy is. I don't know who the dude holding the pizza boxes is. I don't want to, you know, talk bad on him or anything like that. This is probably, they're just having a little bit of fun with it, but you don't want to try and have fun with a boxing match. You know, you don't want to give that aura of, oh, haha, this is fun in games, because it's really not fun in games. And this to me shows that he's probably not taking it as seriously as he should. To even call this training is like, yeah, I mean, he's got the boxing gloves on, he's throwing punches, sure, but it's a joke. That's what it is. And another thing is, he's basically got the same issue as Jordy. He's got his hands down, but in addition to that, he's also reaching back when he ends up throwing his punches, which is going to be a big telegraph. Now, these guys are both going to be very slow. The last thing that either of them needs to be doing is telegraphing their punches. So that is also something that is kind of a strike against Boogie from what I'm seeing right now. So he's switching stances right now. He really shouldn't be messing around like that. What he should be doing is he should be sticking to one stance. If he's a righty, then his left hand should be in front. This is my left hand. I don't know what it is on your screen. This is my right hand. His right hand should be in back. He shouldn't be messing around trying to switch stances and things like that. And I think that's part of the reason why he isn't as athletic as he probably could be. And look, I'm not expecting Olympic caliber athleticism out of either of them, but you can tell that he's basically just been standing in front of that bag, throwing in the way that he is now, and not thinking in terms of, okay, what if I have to move? What if I have to close distance? What if I have to create distance? What if I have to step in or step out, or just basically do anything in order to make sure that my punches land? And because of this, I don't see Boogie landing too much. I'm not saying that he's not going to land at all. In fact, when he does land, I think it's going to really hurt Wings, if I'm being honest. But I don't see him landing as much as he probably could. And it's because when he gets in there, he's not going to be fighting Wings of Redemption. He's going to be hitting the heavy bag.
Because this is two 400-pound men who have effectively, I'm sorry, Jordy, but we've effectively ruined our own lives. We've ruined our own bodies, right? We've ruined our own careers. And this is us fighting for our lives, fighting for our careers, fighting for our respect, fighting for ourselves. I mean, there's a bag involved, and that's great, but that's not why either of us is doing this. I hope not, okay? It really comes down to the fact that I think you're going to see two desperate men who are desperate for relevance, desperate to get better, desperate to get healthy, desperate to be better people fighting it out in that ring. That's why I'm doing it. That's, you know, and if I have to go through Jordy to get to a better life, if I have to go through Jordy to get stronger, to get better, to get healthier, I'm going right through him.
So that statement was actually pretty lucid from Boogie, I have to say. There's a certain self-awareness about this whole thing that Boogie has that is kind of the same in a way as the awareness that Wings has about it. And I find that to be very interesting. Neither of these guys seem to be making excuses or beating around the bush or trying to obfuscate from what this is. They know it's a sideshow. They are doing it at least a little bit for the clout. They're doing it for the money, but they're also doing it because they know, hey, this is a way that maybe some people will finally start to respect me, because both of these guys have been lolcows for a very long time. The internet likes to mess with them. And I can't say that I empathize. I guess I can't say that I know how they feel, but I guess I can say that I empathize with them, because I know that I wouldn't like if mad people were making fun of me and I was the butt of every joke and things like that. I wouldn't want something like that. I wouldn't want Frank Hassel showing up to my house. I know that for a fact. And really, it just makes me kind of admire both of them a little bit here. They're already doing wonders to try and build that respect for themselves just by doing this documentary, really. All right, so that's basically everything that I'm interested in reacting to. There is a little bit more training footage, but it's mostly just joke training footage, and I'm really not interested in that. What I'm gonna leave you with is exactly what I said a second ago, which is I have a great deal of respect for both of these guys, and I really wanna see them use this to improve their lives, to improve their situations, to lose the weight, to hopefully get back on a good path where they don't just have to make money off of being laughed at, if that even really makes them enough money to survive in the first place, which it probably doesn't. Overall, if I had to make a prediction, I would probably say that Wings of Redemption is going to end up winning. And the reason I say that is because he seems to be taking it a little bit more seriously than Boogie. In addition to that, he also very clearly has an athletic advantage, as well as probably an understanding of boxing that is far superior to what Boogie's is. Overall, what I really hope for the fight is that they both put on a good show and that nobody gets hurt too bad, and that they're able to both walk away from it feeling as though they gained something. But that's all that I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and also sub for more. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave those down below. If you have any questions or anything you want to say to me, you can hit me up on Instagram at ScottSullivanMMA. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, good luck out there.